Interfaith leaders help create opportunities for cooperation and relationship building between people who orient around religion differently. When people of different religious and non-religious backgrounds are able to come together to work for the common good, they move together toward pluralism. Why is pluralism so great? Let's look at 5 civic goods that result from this growing pluralism.
The first civic good is pretty obvious. Pluralism paves the way for more understanding and less prejudice. When people build relationships with others who orient around religion differently and develop appreciative knowledge about other religions, they are more likely to have positive views of one another and less likely to be fearful or distrustful of difference. This knowledge and positivity allows people to work together for shared goals and be better neighbors to one another. Prejudice, on the other hand, creates barriers between people and makes it difficult for everyone to contribute to the betterment of the community. Working together is a necessary part of life in a democracy like the United States. Interfaith leaders work to bring people together, and everyone benefits.
Pluralism also helps to strengthen social cohesion, which in turn reduces the likelihood of identity-based conflict. When individuals have strong relationships with people who orient around religion differently, their communities are less likely to have incidents of conflict or violence motivated by religious difference. If hostility or violence does occur, these communities are better prepared to respond to and contain the conflict, and have more of the structures in place to heal their community together, rather than have their community fragment into defensive or isolated pockets. Social cohesion is essential to social capital.
Which brings us to the third civic good of pluralism: helping communities to create bridge social capital, which can be leveraged to address social problems. Remember that religious identity-based organizations like churches, temples, and humanist societies supply the greatest amount of social capital in the United States. Interfaith leaders are able to bridge these bonded communities to create even more energy and resources. These resources can be used to address problems ranging from hunger, homelessness, disease, safety, poverty, education, and everything in between. When people are able to work together for shared goals rather than from within their own individual communities, their impact exponentially increases.
The fourth civic good that often results from pluralism is the continuity of distinct religious and non-religious identities, and the preservation of identity communities that provide opportunities for individuals to participate in social action. Many religious communities in the United States today are facing huge losses in membership, particularly from younger members. In many cases, these members are leaving a particular religious community because they don't feel their church, synagogue, temple, or other community can be fully welcoming of the diverse identities of their members. When a religious organization loses large numbers of members through disaffiliation, both those communities and their former members lose important social and civic connections that allow for bridged social capital. Remember, bridged social capital between distinct identity communities is what allows for healthy responses to and de-escalation of conflict. Interfaith leaders and a pluralistic approach to diverse identities can help a mosque or synagogue learn how to better respond to any rising tensions or questions around diversity within their membership. The same principles that help different communities work together can also be used to support better relationships between members of the same community. As interfaith leaders, we must pay attention to the particularities of any religious or non-religious community, and recognize that how one community begins to move toward pluralism may differ from how another community does.
Finally, pluralism helps to create binding narratives for diverse societies. The United States is a large and diverse nation, but through the national motto of E Pluribus Unum, out of many one, which is displayed on the national seal as well as American currency, we are reminded that our diversity does not keep us separated from one another. Creating this sense of collective belonging reminds us that diversity is an essential piece of our national identity. It's meant to be cherished and positively engaged as a strength rather than an obstacle. Interfaith leaders help us to reimagine our communities in ways that allow our diversity to flourish while we work together for positive ends.
These 5 civic goods are not the only benefits of pluralism, but they offer a few ways to measure the positive impact interfaith leaders can have on individual communities as well as society as a whole. These are 5 of the ways that we have seen pluralism improve our society. Think of some other ways you have seen or can imagine interfaith leadership as a force for good in your community. What are some ways you believe interfaith cooperation could help address social ills? How can you, as an interfaith leader, organize people for the common good?